Hello guys, and welcome back to another FPL video. Today it's the return of my favorite series of the FPL content, and that's the best team for the upcoming week. You can count that as a free hit team, you can get some inspiration to get some transfers in, and this team that you're going to see is, in my opinion, the best one that there is. I'm planning to offload a proper 11 guys onto the field, and then the bench do not matter, as I want to fit in the best possible players on it. As a bonus content, I'm preparing to showcase to you some differential players, 15 of them. So I will deploy a full squad of 15 players that are differentials, 2 keepers, 5 defenders, 5 midfielders, and 3 forwards. You can get some inspiration there. It's too early to go for a differential pick, but if someone is in that lineup and then he's differential, I believe that he is a very good pick in order to gain some instant rank against your friends and against your rivals. I'm going to be providing to you position by position, so I'm going to showcase to you the goalkeepers, then the defenders, then the midfielders, and finally forwards. I will be revealing the bench as we go, but as mentioned, the bench do not matter at all here. I'm not going to rely on them. If you want to see more content of that and want to see how my team is doing, you have to be subscribed to the channel and come and watch tomorrow's video, as I will be discussing how my team is going. It's not that bad so far this week. Several players yet to play, so I don't want to showcase mid-rank now because it doesn't matter. When the game week is done, even now the rank does not matter because it's so early. Like if you're 7th millionth in the world, you can still go up. If you're top 10k, you can still go down. So yeah, it's a pretty short space between all of the guys. Some of them have used chips, some of them have not. Maybe someone is going for a different strategy. A lot of question marks around for several weeks, and until the pack settles, we don't need to care about the rank that much. Let's dive into the video and not waste any more time. Starting at the goalkeeper's position, I'll be going with Sales. He's the most optimal 4.5 keeper that I could find for next week. He faces Southampton. Even though it's away from home, Southampton played today against Newcastle. They were 11 versus 10 for a very high duration. Yeah, they had a pretty good game and pretty good opportunities, but they didn't manage to convert them. On the other hand, Nottingham Forest made a mistake that led to a goal, and I believe that this mistake is not going to repeat in the second game. So yeah, I believe they're very likely to get a clean sheet. There are several other keepers that I would like to get, but they're too expensive, and I'm going with a heavy attack this week. So if I want to fit it, I will need to make some sacrifices. In the goalkeeper's position on the bench is Bentley. Is just a 4.0 keeper, so whoever is comfortable for you and you currently own, that's the best one to own. Going into defense, now I'm going to reveal 5 of the defenders. As mentioned, let's get the bench out of the way. Johnson is just on the bench and he does not need any explanation. He didn't play. You can pick whoever the hell you want, but now I believe that he will be starting, especially with that injury for Barnes that he got. I believe Johnson can be even out of position, so I'm going to still recommend him. In defense, I'm going with 4 players. That's a little bit different than my obvious tactic of 3-5-2 or 3-4-3, but this week the defenders are having such a good game, and yeah, I cannot afford to not own at least several of them. We are going to start with Robinson. Fulham were pretty solid against Manchester United. We haven't seen how Leicester plays at the time of recording, but I don't feel like they are going to be better than United, and I feel like Fulham are going to keep a clean sheet. Robinson was attacking as well as Tete, but Robinson is just more nailed, and I believe that he will be getting a clean sheet and maybe some attacking returns next fixture against Leicester. It's at home, so I quite like that. Next up is Akanji. I know that this is quite a differential pick. It's not Guardiola, it's not Walker, it's not even Ruben Dias, but I believe that Akanji is going to be nailed for the start of the season. And at 5.5, I needed that downgrade from Guardiola in order to fit in all of the attackers that I plan to get. So for me, Akanji a very solid option. He looked like a solid option at the end of last season. I believe that he's going to be one. Now, he might be rotated, so don't get that with 100% certainty, but I believe that if someone is playing, it's going to be Akanji. He has been playing very well in the start of the season, now against Manchester United, and in the Euro specifically. Next up is Pedro Porro. As Akanji, we haven't seen how Spurs are playing, and Porro in particular, but Everton were awful against Brighton. Yeah, they had a penalty that was overruled by VAR, but I still that they do not have a lot of chances, and Porro can score several goals. Like, Everton are not a team to invest in currently. They need some adjustment. They may need Brantwaite back into the lineup as Keane is not up to par. Ashley Young got sent off, so now with Patterson, Ashley Young and Coleman out. Coleman and Patterson are still injured. That means that Ben Godfrey is going to go there. If he's still there, I'm not quite certain, and I believe that Spurs are very likely to score a lot of goals against Everton. And yeah, I didn't manage to fit in an attacker because I feel like they are better players with better fixtures. But if you can get a Spurs attacker, that will be amazing as well. The final guy here is Trent Alexander-Arnold, and I believe that this is the only player currently that I feel bad about not getting. In the first half, he was not doing well, but in the second, oh my god, when Liverpool changed the tactics a little bit, Arnold was so much around the box that I was so scared. He served the ball to Jota with a cross, and Jota missed. After that, he made a wonderful pass to Mohamed Salah, who decided to cut in a pass to Jota, but could have finished by himself pretty easily. Then several more chances to go from Arnold's assist, and I feel like if Liverpool keep clean sheets and with the passes and with the threat that he's holding, he's going to be a different player to keep avoiding. I need to reconsider not owning him, but I will have to change a lot there. Maybe sell Porro. I don't know if I like to do that currently. I need to see how Spurs are playing. But yeah, Arnold is playing really, really well, and he is the only player so far after 6 games that I feel pretty bad about not owning. But yeah, we cannot own them all, and I think that it's very hard to cover Arnold, especially if Liverpool continue playing that attacking just like in the second half. Going into midfield, 4 midfielders, as you can see, Sangare is on the bench, doesn't matter who it is, but now with the newest bad injury, he's going to be even more nailed, so at least I made a good decision at picking that player. Going into midfield, let's start with the Smith Rowe pick. He did not perform really well against Manchester United, but Fulham were doing really well for a very long of 50 to 55 minutes, and I believe that Smith Rowe can be involved into that attack, especially at home, especially against Leicester. I don't know yet how Leicester are going to perform it with a new manager and not a lot of reinforcements. I don't believe that they're going to perform so well, so a second player from Fulham makes the list, and I believe that Smith Rowe, being the newest player and an exciting player, is just like that, an exciting player. Next up, we have a double from Liverpool. They were so clinical. Yeah, Jota missed and Salah missed one more chance. He did not miss it, but they blocked it. But if they start performing well at home, Jota and Salah can cause some damage to a lot of teams. Even if Jota is benched, he can come on from the bench and he can score. For 60-65 minutes, that's more than enough for him to score as many goals as possible. Luis Diaz is another great option here, but I prefer Jota and Salah specifically for that Brentford game. Salah is even a good captain option, so I would highly consider him as going as a captain option if I don't own Erling Haaland. But yeah, Salah, quite amazing. And the last player here is Phil Foden. I don't know if he's going to be nailed. I don't know anything about the City side. I haven't seen them play so far. Maybe the game against Chelsea is going to showcase to us how often and how often the rotation will be, and will we have some info about Foden. But with some injuries into some attackers and Alvarez leaving, that will mean Foden will be even more utilized in the center of the field together with KDB. KDB is an option here, but I just prefer Foden. Now, jumping into the forward line, Haaland, Wood, and Jebbison. Jebbison, I'm just not going to talk anything about him. A 4.5 option, it doesn't matter who it is. Haaland, for me, that's the most scary part of the season if you don't own Haaland. Game week 2 against the newly promoted side, and honestly, in the second half, Ipswich defense fell apart, and I believe that if Haaland keeps his mind into the game, he can score a lot of goals in the second half. Even in the first, it's a away fixture for Ipswich, it's on the City ground, it cannot get any harder than that, and I believe some of the better players are going to be coming back for City as well, like Rodri will be, in my opinion, utilized there, as it's not going to be that hard of a game to get some minutes. Foden will be implemented back, Walker and John Stones most probably will get some minutes, so Akanji is maybe a slight rotation risk, but yeah, I just wanted to have a City defender. If you want a City neo defender, you can go for a player of the status of Ederson, and then just pick a 4.5 defender from Forest. That will be the most nailed part, but I prefer Sales and Akanji's combo. And Chris Wood, he already scored his first goal of the season. Now he faces Southampton, who are not going to be harder opposition than Bournemouth, in my opinion. Yeah, it's away from home, but still, I quite like Chris Wood. 3 bonus points for him. That felt pretty amazing, and I feel like that he can do some serious damage. Now I'm going to jump into the differential players. I'm going to showcase to you the full team. Now you can take a look at it. Yeah, I have some differential players, some players that were already into the first lineup, and let's start discussing them. In goal, I'm still opting for Sales. He is only 1.2% owned. You can get some really good ranks there, especially now with Aine injured. Sales becomes a very viable option from Forest players. Vicario, 4.2% owned. I wanted to showcase a Spurs player here. I wanted a defender, and that is going to be Vicario. As for me, he is going to have a better season than last season, and his previous season was quite good. In defense, Akanji or any other defender than Gvardiol will do the job. Robertson, he is playing. He gets subbed off early, so that means an early clean sheet back. Yeah, he's playing D, but he's taking some set pieces, and at 4.7, a 6 million defender, he can be your key to a Liverpool defense. I don't know for how long, but for now he looks nailed. Robinson, I'm not going to discuss, as already mentioned, 9% owned. Next up on the bench, quite controversially, I will be going for Mazraoui as a differential option. He was so good against Fulham, 3.6% ownership. Yeah, he might be a rotation risk, but for the start of the season with Dawo and Mazraoui, I believe those are going to be the fullbacks. So you can get him for fixtures like Southampton away, Brighton away. Yeah, Brighton might score, but he is a good option, and I believe that he will be solid throughout the whole season. And now the final defender here is Ho. I know that we missed the easiest game for Newcastle, but now it's Schär being suspended for at least 3 games, in my opinion. The starting pair in center back will be Lloyd Kelly and Dan Burn, so that will mean unless they sign a new center back in the following week, Ho is having next to none competition on the left back position. Yeah, they can always go for Livramento on the left and Trippier on the right, but Ho did not play that bad, so I believe that he is going to be a solid option. In midfield, we're going with 5 midfielders. None of them were in my previous draft, which is the best team possible. But still from Liverpool, I cannot go with Jota and Mohamed Salah as they're over 10%. And as you know, the differential players for me are 10% and under. So Szoboszlai, 2.1, he was good. He gave some good passes. He can have some shots away from the box, and I believe that against Brentford, Forest and Bournemouth he can do some serious damage. Going into Luis Diaz, 7.5, 8.7% owned. He is quite wasteful up front, but still a very solid option, and looks like the nailed player on that left wing, and even Darwin didn't get a sniff of the grass, so I believe Luis Diaz is more than 80 minutes player. De Bruyne, already mentioned him for the Foden position in the best team. Anti Foden is not getting a lot of minutes against Chelsea in game week 1. Against Ipswich, De Bruyne will be starting, so he is an amazing option to go for. And after that, West Ham did not look very solid in defense, and Brentford, we don't know how they're playing yet, but still it's not that hard of a fixture. And after that, apart from Arsenal at home, have in mind, up until game week 12 even, you can still hold the City attackers. The last guy here in my starting midfield is Morgan Gibbs-White. He is the Forest captain. Yeah, they did not look that offensive. Ryan Yates is a good option here, but I wanted to point out their captain and their most used player on set pieces, so that's Morgan Gibbs-White. And finally, on the bench is Adama, 5.0. I wanted to mention a full midfielder, and Adama made me a good impression against Manchester United, especially on the counter. If he's running on the wing, there is only one thing missing, the end product, and I believe that he can slightly improve during the season, and if he do not return against Leicester in Ipswich, I will be quite surprised. Up front, we're starting with the guy that made headlines, that's Zirkzee from Manchester United. He may not start, but he might be a good player. Overall, it's very hard to pinpoint another attacker, but I wanted to showcase 3 to you. If the season improves and when we have more data, I will be showcasing other attackers, but for now Zirkzee makes the list. Muniz, as already mentioned, Fulham are having such a good fixture run. He did not impress me a lot in the first game against Manchester United, but it was at Old Trafford, so I believe against Leicester at Craven Cottage he will be even better. And finally, it's going to be Chris Wood, already in my first lineup. So Wood, Robinson, Akanji, and Sales are all repetitive players. So if I'm going for someone, I'll be most probably going for Robinson because there are a lot of issues in the defensive department, and I believe that Robinson is the best replacement right now. I'll be preparing some transfers tips when all of the games have been played and we see how every team is playing. But for now, Robinson looks like the most wanted player in defense next to Mazraoui as well, but I would recommend highly Robinson as I believe Fulham are going to be a quite solid team this season and they can get you some clean sheets and attacking returns. That's the differential team. That is the best team. Once again, if you're just skipping until the end, feel free to not copy it because it's a free hit team, but get some players from here. I'm not saying that these picks are bad, but if you want an even bigger jump in ranks, the differentials. But if you want to be stale and not to fall too far behind, those players can get you out of jail for sure. Thank you for watching. If you want to support me, you can subscribe, you can join the mini league, you can like, you can put a comment if I'm missing some players, maybe some Spurs players I'm missing here, but I just wanted 3 City and 3 Liverpool players as they look like a very good team to target. No Arsenal currently, but still they face Villa, so it's not the best fixture to go for. And Leicester, Brentford, Ipswich, Southampton, and Everton for sure upper hand that team. Yeah, that's quite focused on 5 teams, but I believe those are the 5 teams with the best fixtures so far. Thank you for watching. Thank you for tuning in. Once again, if you are not part of the channel, subscribe, join the Discord. There is a mini league for the Discord. There is a public mini league now that you can join instantly by clicking the link. A lot of options. Thank you for watching, but for now, guys, I'll be heading out. Bye.